is John Cadbury, and this is my shop, where I first established my business in 1824. My father, Richard Tapper Cadbury, owns and runs the drapery store next door. Our family are staunch Quakers, and we originally came from the West Country. Father moved the family to Birmingham from our home in Exeter in 1794 and set up his business as a linen draper and silk merchant. Birmingham was a fine place to live, with plenty of business opportunities. We soon made many friends, and my father became a prominent member of the local Quaker community. Because of our religious beliefs, Quakers were considered to be nonconformist. This prevented us from studying at university, and as a result, we were unable to enter the professions, such as medicine and law. Also, because Quakers are pacifists, we couldn't join the army or navy. And so trade and commerce were the only areas where Quakers could focus their ambitions and prosper. I was apprenticed as a tea merchant in Leeds, and then worked at a bonded tea house in London. When I returned to Birmingham in 1824, I borrowed some money from my father to go into business as a tea dealer and coffee roaster. I took over this shop and installed this large plate glass window so that my customers could see the samples of tea, coffee and cocoa nibs that I'd prepared myself. My colourful window displays soon attracted new customers from far and wide. I even employed a fully costumed Chinese man to help serve in the shop. Oh yes, he caused a lot of interest. And with him minding the shop, I started to experiment manufacturing my own cocoa and chocolate in the cellar behind the shop. You see, I'd noticed that fashionable people were drinking cocoa and chocolate. I decided to offer them to my customers as well. This was good for my business, because tea, coffee, cocoa and chocolate were considered as acceptable alternatives to alcohol, of which we, as Quakers, strongly disapproved. Let me tell you some more about how my business grew and prospered from these very humble beginnings.
You take the seats right over on the far side first.
Far side
right over on the far side first if you would.
Oh, on the far side. Far side. Where?
Okay, guys, straight over here for me.
Okay, watch how much you...
Straight to the far side, guys.
No, put it near that.
Welcome. Here is my shop, number 93 Bull Street, where I set up my business in 1824 to trade tea and coffee. I also sold cocoa nibs I prepared myself, chocolate and coffee beans. These drinks were considered as wholesome alternatives to alcohol, which we as Quakers strongly disapproved. And so as my business began to prosper, I was able to attract fashionable customers to buy my goods and see the colourful displays in my shop window. In my spare time, I experimented with preparations of cocoa beans and chocolate, which I could sell in the shop. Soon I had to rent a warehouse in nearby Crooked Lane, where I could manufacture these products on a larger scale. At first, it was very difficult, because I had to pay high taxes on the cocoa beans. And then, on top of all that, I had to move out of Crooked Lane and into another factory, here, in Bridge Street. That's when my brother Benjamin joined me.